So I should probably apologize for publishing a video that is not a Stalker Let's Play. I know that I've heard your guys' voice. You've said Tolstoy, never stop uploading Stalker Let's Plays. You know, the millions of views have just they have spoken. Fuck, that joke's not even funny. Okay, so time for a video that isn't a Stalker Let's Play. I guess, if we have to. So recently I was on a trip. I flew into Boston and saw some friends of mine in the Northeast. We were in the, Rhode Island, Boston, Mass area. Besides, hanging out and shooting the shit, we actually did some exploration. You alright?
I haven't done this in a while, it's fine.
Don't do that. What does it say? Elysium dreams fucking violence? Can't we have this bullshit?
If we need to do an emergency exfil, we're going over that.
Makes sense, yeah. Disappear into the brush. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. What's up? Fuck. This is some Silent Hill grade shit. Fuck yeah. I love Urbex.
This is amazing.
I love this shit. My buddy Kenny would have to eat his heart out. Too bad all these fucking teenagers come here. They think this is a place to smoke the devil's lettuce.
Guys, look, they're saying the inverted pentagram is written like shiny ass gold. Oh my goodness.
Lame.
Aerodrome on Mars. Okay.
This is actually really. I don't know, I always enjoyed this.
What's that?
Well, for me, when people do this type of like graffiti shit, especially when it's well done, kind of like a reclamation.
I see.
I think graffiti is beautiful, but tagging is...
Yeah, if you're just going to
And I was super surprised to find out that Providence, I should have probably already known this already, being such a massive fan of H.P. Lovecraft, Providence was his hometown, and he's also buried there, so I went to go see his grave. Yes!
Howard Phillips Lovecraft.
Can I confess something to you guys?
What?
Waiting in the lobby of Raleigh, Durham, I noticed a chick there who, she actually asked me to watch her stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, because I don't want to go get a coffee, Not with her. I just wanted to go get a coffee. Anyway, but she eventually came back after, like, what felt like a fucking hour. And she had, like, this, like, large, flexible, notebook that looked like it had... I only got, like, a small glimpse of it because, you try not to give, like, the creep factor. You're trying to get that going up on there. You're trying to, like, stealth, peep game. It was like her art book, but it also had lots of writing in it, and I didn't get too much of a good look at it, but I swear to God, it looked like it had the middle finger symbol from, I don't know how many of you were fans of the remake of Evil Dead. I love the remake of Evil Dead. I've seen the originals, but to be perfectly honest, like, I just like the new one better. No disrespect, no hate. I love Sam Raimi as a director, but anyway, in the, you know that one of my obsessions is, besides just, like, I like handwritten stuff, I like paper and pens, and of course, obviously, within that realm, there is like, the old magical tome that you probably shouldn't fuck with. Well, of course, it's an Evil Dead, and the guy's got a little notebook, and he's jotting down notes, and he's trying to translate it, and there's if you freeze frame on one of the scenes where he's attempting to translate it, there is literally a symbol of like a middle finger, with like the little rotation arrows to show you what it's saying, among a whole bunch of other glyphs and whatnot. And speaking of glyphs, so one of the things that was actually cool to see in Providence is apparently there's the oldest mall in America there, called the Arcade. Um, and long story short, there is actually a store there that is some kind of crazy co-op that's like dedicated to the writings and art surrounding H.P. Lovecraft. And this is all I could afford because I'm poor. But that's okay because I don't need possessions in my life. Sort of. Anyway, but I realize this doesn't have the name of the store on there. But I just bought a couple of postcards. Now this though, you gotta give it up for this. H.P. Lovecraft's Cool Air was the first story I ever read by him. It was in the collection Waking Up Screaming, and I gotta be real. Call of Cthulhu. I knew he wrote it. That was the last thing I ever read by him. And in fact, my favorite of his is probably Mountains of Madness. That's got to be his magnum opus. I mean, in my personal opinion, closely followed by Reanimator and Charles Dexter Ward. But anyway, the dude who was running it, really cool dude. I'm not gonna get it out because it's in one of my journals, but it's pinned in there. He drew us a crazy map to find H.P. Lovecraft's grave. He was also he himself. Cool looking dude, had some piercings, some tats, shaved head, nice collared shirt, good looking beard. You know what I mean? Had some spectacles that were very well chosen stylistically for his face. He had his aesthetic coherence kind of all together, and he very much appeared like a character from an H.P. Lovecraft story. He also had a kind of flexible art book that he was. I tried to peep game, but again, Tolstoy rolls for, roll for stealth. Ooh, both ones. So I failed my stealth check, and he kind of guarded a little bit. I straight up was like, oh, neat, a crazy book. I love crazy books. That was a strange thing to say, but if you are one of my people, you'll understand. Like, I myself have completed several crazy books. This is Rhodia. I haven't actually done a review of Rhodia, and some people have actually asked that, like, is there going to be a Rhodia review? Well, I'm almost done with my fourth Rhodia, or third Rhodia. Fourth journal, third Rhodia. The first one was a moleskin. So when the new one comes, I will probably review it. But long story short, I just love that whole, handwritten, some of this is art, some of this is notes. I just really like that. And I kind of thought it'd be cool to get my hands on something like that with the philosophy of use just being just anything that I want to doodle and anything that I want to write down. Not necessarily a journal, which is, obviously chronicling my sick house, Nathan Drake-esque adventures of injuring myself at the gym and doing a poor job attempting to climb and wishing I could be out hiking. I actually, in previous videos, I kind of hinted at the idea that I would be trying to scan in pages of my journals that were safe and upload them to my Patreon as Patreon bait. And the only reactions that I ever got from any of the entries that I actually managed to upload was from Zach, who liked every single one of them because he's just like best bro. Nobody else seemed to give a shit, and to be perfectly honest, that's kind of okay because I realized when going through these that it's not that they're cringy, it's that there are just so few pages that actually have nothing incriminating on them. Like, I just picked a random page. Well, that's actually about us moving out onto the property. Anyway. But, I really enjoy my journals. I really wish that I could show them off maybe one day when I'm fucking dead and none of this shit matters. It's not like there's a lot of, shit in there like, fucking Becky, I'm a bitch. There's a lot of, cool, cool little doodles and stuff. Some of my, closer fans will know that, I have, one dot in art. That's That's putting it. That's being. What's the word? That's being generous. I can doodle really good. Um, and you might recognize what my like. I wish I had. If I could pull up some of my art in this that wasn't incriminating. No, we can't do that page. Oh, can't do that page either. Nope. I used to post some of my art back in the day on, like, I think I even had a deviant art, but it was cringy. Let's just say it's definitely on par with, like, Sonichu, you know what I mean? Like, that's Napoleon if he was a badger. Hey, look, it's the South. Do you think there's a lot of shit to do down here? There is not. Why do you think I make YouTube videos still? If I was still living in Maryland and I had friends and happiness, you think that I would be doing this shit? Fucking stalker let's plays? Get the fuck out of here. No, I wouldn't be doing that shit. No, I would say I'm kidding, but I'm not. Then again, I also wouldn't be. Well, you're not hiking now. Oh, yeah. Fuck me, Freddy. That shit blows big fat donkey cocks. Sonny Jim. I also have a Rhodia. This is actually, before they started making journals, Rhodia started making pads. These are also super fucking handy. Why such a weird pad, Tolstoy? No one asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. These are handy to have around, believe it or not. There's a lot of times where you're going to have to write things down, even if you don't think about it. Not every single fucking thing can be kept on your smartphone, and your smartphone is probably more vulnerable to this than this. To both hacking and potentially just dropping it and breaking it. Rhodia is a company that actually, like, this is, I think this was like $10. And you might say to yourself, it's kind of a lot of money for a pad of paper. Well, it's like 90-gram French Clairefontaine paper. So if I fucking wanted, I could do, like, watercolors on this. That's not what I'm using it for. This is literally just a shit pad. This is just where the philosophy of use on this is literally just anything that I need to write down that's, like, possibly technical. Oh yeah, this is cool. This was a map that I was making for a Call of Cthulhu campaign. I had to prep for it real quick one Sunday when I thought I was gonna have to DM. And then we never finished that fucking campaign. They offer that in format that's known as .grid. That is .grid format. There is no format that is better than .grid. Lines are the worst, plain is a little bit better, and .grid is the best of both worlds. Essentially, if you can use them as guides for when you're writing along, so that your writing doesn't tend to kind of veer off course, and then it looks like a 3-year-old went at note taking for the first time. But you can also use it for art, and if you fill up the entire page with notes, it literally looks super like neat as hell because it looks like you just did that all manually, keeping it in line because your lettering will overlap most of the dots. I was dicking around in a craft store, and I had looked on the net to see if Rhodia made something like what I saw those two people have, a kind of big, flexible, notebook that was .grid and was, slightly larger than I believe what's referred to as the A5 format, which is like 8 inches by 5 inches. And I was dicking around in a art store, what do we call it, a craft store, and I actually found a line of notebooks in multiple colors from a brand called Artist's Loft. Yep. There you go. And it's 7 by 10. So slightly larger. This was not as big or even the same brand, I can tell you right off the bat. This was not as big as theirs. Theirs was a little bit bigger than this. But I actually think I like this size a little bit better. And it was like $8, so I picked it up. And you're still kind of in the shadow of my PC, and from this angle you can see my fucking hipster skull pajamas, but I literally don't give a fuck anymore. Alright. Can't center it. Yep. Nope. Okay. Just for a quick size comparison, there's the A4, A5, whatever it's called, Rhodia. I forget what the hell they call these. I bought like 3 of them now. Coming up on 4 of them. It's called like the Rhodia web book, believe it or not, which is a weird thing to call it because there's nothing web. Anyway, I don't know. But either way, that's a brief size comparison. On the back, it claims it's got 128 pages. It's ink-proof paper. Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, we'll see. Acid-free paper, lays flat, page markers, and elastic band enclosure. And it says that in multiple fucking languages. Made in China. Yeah. It claims it's a journal. I should probably, if we're reviewing stuff, I guess I should review it right side up for you. There you go. It's a little bit better. So, Artist's Loft. It doesn't call it dot grid. It calls it dotted paper. It's dot grid, sir. I think you need to unfuck yourself. 7 by 10. Has that in centimeters. Claims journal. But no, not for journaling. This is a doodle book. For either doodling, or silly notes, or poetry, or whatever the fuck. If I even use it at all. I definitely have notebooks that I still haven't even used. I know that it's like backpacks with me, you know what I mean? Where it's like, do you really need another one? And it's like, but this one could be used in a slightly different situation. Like, I mean, but it was $8. It's a little bit different. So, it's got your little band. The band doesn't feel bad. It feels about as sturdy as, you know, standard issue Moleskin or Rhodia. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of these bands. I don't think that they're necessary. I don't think they're bad. I don't particularly care. Alrighty. One of the things that I don't like, and the different colors that they had, black was not one of them. This is gray. Gray is okay. Black would have been better. Black would have been better. So one of the things that I don't like is, maybe you can't see it in the shadow of the steeple here. What the fuck? Why would you tape this thing in? Why would you do that? Oh. Alright, that came off way easier than I thought it was going to come off. But still, why would you do that? Alright, let's take off, let's get its bra off here, man. Let's, oh, and they taped both fucking sides. Thanks a lot, you fucking assholes. Fucking dicks. Anyway, so that's that. It's really not that big a deal. And in the center, you got your little page marker, which is right here. Look, the paper feels a little suspect. I don't know that that's art grade paper, my friend. Does lie flat, which is definitely something that it said it would do at this size. So let's give it some tests. Let's go all the way to the back. I mean, it's never going to feel as good as Rhodia paper. Rhodia has some extra kind of coating on there. I don't think it's just the weight of the paper. There's also something about it. So, we've got a whole bunch of different stuff that we can test with it. We're going to start off with a pencil. Number 2, Office Depot. You know what they don't have in the South? Office Depots. Why don't they have them in the South? Because they got staples. I don't understand what the fuck that means. All right, and I'm literally just going to write that out. I don't understand that. So, let's see if we can. And the pencil has virtually no bleed through. The other side of the page looks fine. But that was just the first test. Step it up a gear. So this is, we've talked about this before. This is Papermate Inkjoy. These pens are fucking expensive, man, for fucking pens. They want like $2. They sell them individually in a variety of colors that I adore. One of the things that makes me super butthurt is that I purposely picked out this custom ink for a Pilot Metropolitan refillable ink pen, which we will get to. And I really like that jade green. Green is one of my favorite colors. I love that jade, you know, TM Riddle, LT Riddle, TJ Riddle, whatever the fuck his name was in that goddamn book. And as it turns out, it's a bitch to refill. It runs out quickly, and these don't last super long, but they obviously last longer than that, and they make a green that is almost the same color green. I'm a little bit butthurt, but these are kind of considered among like the journaling world and the art world. These are kind of the Glock of the art world. So, not sure what I'm going to write. Here we go. I'm just going to write, not sure what I'm going to write. I've actually never written on duck grid paper that had a soft surface. I do have a Rhodia Rama that I'm not going to dig out. If you care to look it up, it is a Rhodia that is a soft back, and mine is like that fake faux leather that this texture kind of has mimicking, but it is A5 size, and it's brown. And it's fucking Rhodia. I never used it. No reason I couldn't use it as a journal. I thought, it's, I don't know, I haven't used it yet. I decided to go with a hardback instead, so I kept it. I'm not sure what I'm going to write. check that bleed through. Dang, boy. Oh, because I pulled back 2 fucking pages. So, okay. That's actually really not that bad. That is relatively minimum. I'm trying to see if I can angle that so you can see. You're going to get a little bit of bleed through. That's pretty minimum. If you need something to contrast that with... So to contrast, this is another A5 size dot grid notebook. It's from a company called Essentials. I mean, you can see this stuff at like Target or, you know, never really Walmart. Found this in a bookstore. I just thought it was only $10, and I thought, well, that's like a few dollars cheaper than Rhodia, and I could just use this to plot RPGs in. Which, by the way, this book would make a great RPG plotter. You know, just quickly write down your map, actually mapping out a dungeon on double these pages. That would be pretty fucking wicked. But I did a test scribble in the back, and this is essentially just, you know, your standard issue Rhodia / Loic term / Moleskin ripoff. Doesn't have the name. And look how bad that bleed through is. Maybe, you know, with this shitty camera, in this shitty lighting, you can't see the difference between... What did I even write? You could probably read it backwards. Obligatory pen ink test. Oh, paper ink test. Obligatory paper ink test. And that is how badly it bleeds over. So, by comparison, this is actually relatively decent paper. I mean, it's not Rhodia grade. I'm gonna be real, that's honestly about as good as Loic term, which is saying something because Loic term is some pretty good ink. There's some pretty good pages, excuse me. I misspoke. But let's keep going with these fucking stupid tests. Why? Because this is Matism. Shut up about Matism. So now I have to write. Okay, these little things. I would like to clip these. These are honestly, I don't feel like that helps the aesthetic of this thing. I don't think this thing is so neat and nice and pristine that it requires these stupid little, and not 2 of them. Like, you know, Loic term does that. Rhodia doesn't even use that. You know why? Because Rhodia is a good company. All right, what am I gonna write? I usually save the green for things that I've said. Believe it or not, in my journals, it's kind of what I do. Ah, great. Yeah, it's running low on ink. Oh, my fucking word. I don't feel like refilling it right now. Jesus H. Tap dancing Christ. Does it work on other stuff and it's just the page? No. Just out of fucking ink. Alright. Fuck it. YOLO. This is a pain in the ass to do. And I'm going to do this the half-ass way. You are supposed to clean this out, but you know damn well I don't feel like doing that right now. This is ridiculous. Is this the shit that they had to do back in the day? Now the problem is I need like a, here you go. Got a wad of toilet paper here from when I blew my nose earlier. Yes, that's right, blew my nose. I have to do it fucking constantly, because apparently there are just people out there that just breathe free all the goddamn time. As though they go to the gym and they get on the treadmill and they don't sometimes have to take the 2 fingers and then do that to force their nasal passages, to force their fucking nose open. Fucking boy with the golden rectum up in here. Alright, that may or may not have. It's probably just going to explode all over the goddamn page, but then that'll be a fucking test of its capabilities. This is probably a terrible... Alright. Just for good measure, maybe a precise V5, which is my choice of standard issue journal writing. I need to get another one because this one's actually going to eventually run out of ink. It's soon going to run out of ink. There's actually not as much smearing as you would think. I just kind of rub my hand over top of it. It's absorbing the ink really well, taking up the ink really well. Okay. And I don't know why. Shitty webcam froze. I literally wrote, and the piece of shit webcam froze. So, this is what all of the different pens and pencils look like on this little art notebook. Why it won't focus. Focus, focus. Damn, this is the most professional fucking YouTube video I've ever done. Okay. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Dang! That is virtually no bleed through. Considering how heavy the pens that I used were, they actually, you can tell that they meant for this to be used for art. I'm not sure what the actual stats are on the paper. It doesn't say. But that's gotta be pretty hefty, at least 70 gram, to be able to kind of sweat off. And for only $8, I have to admit, I cannot give this a bad review. This is a good notebook. If you were going to school for art, I would use